After we announced my pregnancy, my sister-in-law's plan to humiliate me at my husband's party backfired, landing her in jail and divorced for the last 7 years. I 29F have been married to Harry, except for his relationship with his sister Kayla, who brings nothing but negativity into our lives. I love everything about our marriage. Now don't get me wrong, when I first met Kayla, I actually liked her, but over time, I quickly changed my opinion. She is toxic, manipulative, and incredibly negative, knowing what kind of person she is. I have tried hard over the years to stay on her good side. My husband dated Kayla's best friend when he was 17 in the past, but they eventually broke up because he felt pressured to be with her because of Kayla. His sister told him he and another friend of hers should be together when he turned 23, and found out he was single, but he refused. She went crying to their parents about how she wanted him to marry someone she felt comfortable with, but his parents barely listened to her during their big fight while my husband and I were meeting and falling in love. His parents were very supportive, but Kayla always treated me coldly. She would constantly bring up Harry's exes for no reason whenever I was around, reminding him of how well they were doing and suggesting ways he could get back in touch with them. This went on for quite some time. Harry also found this weird and would tell her to stop bringing up his exes. I wasn't the only one who noticed this. Then Kayla would get angry and start mocking me, saying I was jealous and Harry shouldn't be with someone like me. Kayla would intentionally invite one of Harry's exes whenever his parents would invite us for dinner, claiming she had accidentally run into them that day and had to invite them politely. She doesn't follow me, but she constantly checks my Instagram. Since I have a public account, I noticed she is always the first PE. Worsen to view my stories. If a man comments on my photo, she would then go to her brother and complain about how I was posting inappropriate pictures of myself. Harry and I would actually laugh at her accusations. She tried to convince Harry to break up with me when he and I decided to move in together, telling him I had many flaws as a woman and that she could find someone much better for him since I had been nothing but kind to her all along. This comment really hurt me. Unfortunately, Kayla's treatment of me got even worse after Harry and I got engaged. Everyone started congratulating Harry and me when we announced our engagement, but I noticed Kayla was unusually quiet. Then, shocking everyone, she jumped up from her chair and left our gathering. Later, she called Harry crying and screaming about how she didn't appreciate hearing the news with everyone else because she felt she was the closest to him and deserved to be the first to know about his engagement. Later, she messaged me almost threateningly, telling me how I should treat her brother. Since she had always been the only woman in his life, I almost shuddered at the strange message I left, her message on read, which I know must have offended her even more. Not even bothering to respond every time Kayla saw me, she started to progressively ignore me. She remained involved in all the wedding preparations for some reason, like when I went dress shopping and had my bridal shower, even though both my future mother-in-law and fiancé called her out on it multiple times. Her criticism of the wedding reached a whole new level as she openly expressed her displeasure with my choices. Her behavior continued. One day, Kayla overheard me discussing the centerpieces with my future mother-in-law. She immediately started making fun of me, saying how my choice had no class, and how this was why she wanted her brother to marry someone better for me. That was the breaking point, and I lost control. I made it clear to her that she was no longer invited to our wedding, and yelled at her that I could not tolerate her constant mocking and criticism anymore, shocked and gasping in surprise, as if she had never expected me to stand up to her. Kayla was furious. Even my mother-in-law, who supported me later, Kayla contacted Harry, complaining about how I humiliated her and demanding he should control me since I would be his wife. Harry firmly stated that he supported my decision and that she would not be invited to the wedding unless she apologized. She reluctantly texted me a sincere apology. I saw it, and once again, left it on, read. I was already exhausted from preparing for my wedding, and I wanted nothing to do with her drama. She did attend our wedding in the end, because I wanted to avoid her criticizing us afterward. Everyone, including the guests, seemed to have no problem following the pink tones and pastels chosen for my wedding. But Kayla arrived looking as though she were attending a funeral, a black floor-length gown with a veil, to put it mildly. We were shocked. Kayla visited everyone, sharing her grief at losing her brother to another woman. My husband confronted Kayla about her discomfort with her wedding attire at the reception, saying that she had the right to wear whatever she wanted and that I was too controlling. She tried to play the victim when her non-stop scene-making continued. My mother-in-law and father-in-law finally ordered her to leave. It was humiliating for me. Ever since that day, I avoid her. I banned Kayla from being anywhere near our child when I gave birth to my son Nate. She tried to protest, but my husband's parents supported me. They backed my decision and knew exactly why I wanted Kayla away from my baby. Kayla suffered a miscarriage with her then boyfriend Jamie 2 years ago, and it completely devastated her. For everyone, that was truly a sad time, given our already having children. Harry and I felt sorry for her. We decided to be somewhat more lenient after her miscar. She could bond with our son Nate, so we would invite her to our house. Despite her behavior toward me, she has been quite sweet to our son. Really surprising, she seemed to have changed at first, but over time, she returned to her old self. She constantly talks about how hard her life is, how things never seem to work out for her, and blames ex-friends or bosses for ruining her life. I have noticed over time that she is never wrong in her mind. She is always trying to get people on her side by playing the victim card and rarely admits any faults and conflicts. She decided to get married this year and invited everyone except us, given our relationship seemed to have improved. Harry was shocked to learn we were not invited. She started to explain how she wouldn't let me come because I would cause a disturbance at her wedding. When we asked her about it, having never done anything to her, I called and asked her why she would think something like that. Kayla started to explain how she had deliberately dressed in all black for our wedding, so now she was afraid that I might do the same, and this was why she wanted me absent. I told my husband directly about how manipulative she was, furious about it after talking with his parents. Harry decided to let Kayla know they would neither be attending the wedding, nor would they pay for it. This brought Kayla to tears, and she started to blame me for causing this disaster. Her fiancé told her she had no right to be blaming me, since she had openly admitted her own mistake. Kayla, however, justified her behavior by saying that I should just get over it since our wedding was long ago. Later, she contacted me to apologize and asked for forgiveness, since Mil and Phil were still not paying for her wedding. Though I hate to admit it, Kayla can be quite charming and convincing when she wants something. I wanted to just move forward from the past and forgave her wedding. G2, Jamie went perfectly. We all attended and had fun. Not even 6 months later, Kayla showed up at our door complaining about her marriage failing for a few days. Harry and I let her stay with us, where she would spend countless hours complaining about her husband. They seemed to be struggling to conceive, and Kayla was clearly blaming Jamie for everything. When I went to talk to Kayla, she insisted it was entirely her husband's fault. She would be hyper-focused on our lives and try to create problems that didn't exist when she was not complaining about her husband. For example, usually every morning before going to work, I go to the gym when I'm running late. I sometimes bring my work clothes so I can finish my workout, take a shower, and change into my work clothes. Kayla observed this for some time and would have many questions about it, including why I was showering or why I even needed to go to the gym. I didn't think much of it, and would explain how I liked maintaining my weight and how I disliked going to the office. All sweaty, she would nod and purse her lips. Il was telling us about a friend of hers who was divorcing during lunch. She left her friend's husband and took half of his assets after finding out about his affair. Kayla interrupted her suddenly to ask my husband whether he and I had signed a prenup before we got married. We paused to look at her. We stopped eating. She stared at my husband expectantly, as if I wasn't even there. My husband told her directly that he is not someone who beats around the bush, since he and I both made decent money, and we felt no need for a prenup. Kayla snorted and started to say that he could be caught off guard any day, and that cheaters are everywhere today. Her comments offended me, so I asked her to explain exactly what she meant. Kayla then started to suggest how I was clearly seeing someone, since I was always carrying a change of clothes everywhere, and that as Harry's sister, it was her duty to warn her brother. These were shocking comments for me. Phil and Emil immediately stepped in to stop her from continuing to make up such things and told her she shouldn't interfere with other people's business. Without skipping a beat, Kayla continued to insist how she was only trying to be there for her brother and started to question if our son Nate was really Harry's son, since he didn't quite look like him. I swear I saw the redness of rage on my husband's face in my life. I had never seen him this angry looking Kayla straight in the eye. He told her that she was not a mother yet because she did not deserve to be one, and that her child would be better off in heaven than with someone like her. Kayla's jaw dropped in shocked disbelief. Mil and Phil simply watched silently as my husband continued berating Kayla about her being a shameless person, trying to ruin everything because her life had nothing to offer. She was just a loser, he told her, doing nothing all day while her husband worked constantly. He kept saying that since she was clearly projecting, she should focus on her own marriage instead of accusing me, and asking about prenups, reduced to tears. Kayla started to cry, expecting comfort. She turned to Jamie sitting right next to her, but he remained silent. My husband never has this kind of emotional outburst. She finally got up from her chair and ran to the bathroom. My husband was fuming. I held his hand, and Emil came to calm him down, knowing just how frustrating she could be. I nodded as he apologized for what his sister had said about our son having endured enough from Kayla. Over the years, I was somewhat relieved that my husband defended me so publicly. He apologized to Jamie, but completely ignored Kayla once he calmed down. That day after lunch, we went back to no contact with Kayla. Her behavior was affecting my husband as well as me. We simply blocked her from everything, so she couldn't contact us after lunch. Emil and Fiel talked with us and agreed Kayla had gone too far this time. They could see how their usually calm son had exploded after Kayla had kept pushing him. We last talked with her a year ago, and everything has been going smoothly. 2 months ago, I found out I was pregnant, given our lack of trying. This was quite unexpected. To welcome another family member makes my husband and me happy. We decided to announce it on my husband's birthday, since we were waiting for the right time to do so. Wanting to celebrate, Harry, Emil, and Phil were throwing a big party in their backyard. Invited were our close friends and family. Kayla decided to show her face after hearing about this from others when we saw her. My husband and I froze, coming to hug Harry. Kayla told him how much she had missed him and how sorry she was for their last conversation. Taking my hand, my husband told his sister to apologize to me since she had accused me of terrible things. Kayla nodded, looked at me, then apologized. She told me how she had been going to therapy for the past few months and realized how wrong it was for her to treat me like that. Though I didn't believe anything she said, I nodded because I wanted to be polite to her in front of everyone, since this was a party for my husband. Emil and Phil checked on us and told us that if we felt uncomfortable, they would kick her out, since they had no idea she would be coming. Harry, however, insisted on not making a scene, so we decided to let it go. It seemed strange, as Kayla was laughing and mingling with everyone during the party. She mentioned going to a therapist, so I wanted to give her the benefit of the doubt, even though she seemed overly cheerful, completely unlike her usual self. Harry gave a touching speech about how he felt he was the luckiest man on earth, grateful for yet another year spent with a woman like me when it came time to cut the cake. His words made me blush with joy as we were when we first started dating all those years ago. I couldn't help but appreciate the fact that my husband and I were still deeply in love. Then Harry and I decided to announce some wonderful news. Smiling, we announced we were having a baby, and everyone paused to process before erupting in joy. My mother rushed to hug me and started to cry while Phil congratulated Harry and myself, tears streaming down his face. Everyone was excited to know if we had picked baby names and was clearly happy for us. Kayla was the one person who stood out. She seemed shocked. Her expression changed and she simply turned away from us looking upset, so I assumed maybe she was processing things slowly. Though I was a bit worried thinking she would ruin yet another party for us, I was distracted with other people coming to chat. I got up to help my in-laws serve lunch, but my parents and Emil insisted I stay seated, saying I shouldn't even move at this point. Kayla approached me, smiling, as I was quietly waiting for my husband to bring me a plate, cheerfully, saying that she personally wanted to serve me food since she was so happy about my pregnancy. She handed me a plate. She even mentioned, as she gave me the plate, about how she wanted to make up for all the time she had been mean to me in the past. I nodded and politely thanked her. She then walked away. I was about to start eating when I fortunately noticed she had put shrimp on my plate. I know I am severely allergic to shrimp, so I was shocked. Kayla even served me this. Disappointed, I shook my head and got up to get my own food. Jamie approached me at that moment to congratulate me on my pregnancy. After a brief chat, he asked me why I wasn't eating. Jamie told me not to worry and took the plate from my hands after I explained how Kayla had served me shrimp, probably by mistake since he loved eating shrimp. He said he could have this plate. I could get a new plate for myself. I nodded, smiled, then walked away. Jamie started to vomit and choke on this food. 5 minutes late. Or not even 5 worried. Everyone stopped eating and watched him struggle to get out of his chair, concerned Harry. And Kayla rushed toward him. Jamie pointed at his plate, then at his throat. Our eyes widened in shock as we realized what he had eaten clearly had something wrong with it. Obviously, Jamie collapsed. Then everyone gasped in shock and concern. Kayla rushed to check his plate, and her eyes widened in horror. She turned to look at me and asked if I had given her husband my plate. I nodded. Someone called for an ambulance during the chaos, and he was rushed to the hospital. Throughout all of this, Kayla was crying constantly and was glaring at me. Jamie had been poisoned, we were informed later, knowing that the plate originally belonged to me. I almost fainted when I heard this. What Jamie ate could have poisoned my baby and me. Harry, MIL Phil, or my parents don't know this yet, because nobody knew what was in the food he ate that had caused him to collapse like this. The police were called to collect evidence from it. Jamie is still recovering in the hospital. As I'm writing this, Kayla stayed with him overnight, relatives calling to ask what happened to Jamie and who might have poisoned him. Have my husband and I answering calls. What has happened terrifies Mill and Phil. They are staying at our house because they are afraid to go back to their house. Nobody knows what happened suddenly while everything was going so well. Regarding Harry and myself, our family now includes a beautiful baby daughter. Our daughter's arrival has brought joy and light into our lives. Despite the dark shadows of the past still lingering, being a big brother fills our son Nate with happiness, and he has been gentle and protective toward his little sister. Watching our children bond makes us grateful for everything. My parents and in-laws have been supportive throughout, helping us navigate this new chapter of our life. Thank you for watching. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so, and hit the notification bell to stay updated with more shocking real-life stories happening around you.